Hi, I'm Dr. Mark Pitstick at soulproof.com, and we're talking about near-death experiences, NDEs. Maybe you've heard about near-death experiences, maybe you know someone who has had one. Very, very common. The definition of near-death experiences is continuation of consciousness beyond physical death. Now we're talking about clinical death, not biological. That is, the person's lungs have quit breathing, heart has quit beating, brain has quit working. But during that time, while their eyes are closed, they're clinically dead, these people have a continued awareness or consciousness. Most people know about the stages of a near-death experience, feeling like they're going through a tunnel, hearing different noises, seeing angelic beings, maybe Jesus or other religious personages, seeing departed loved ones, greeting them, seeing the light, and learning information. After a while, being given a chance or to come back, or being told it's not their time, and then coming back the reverse way and coming back into their body. Well, there's some amazing documentation about these near-death experiences. Again, very common type experience. Gallup poll says 5% of people worldwide. So that's 330 million Americans on our planet, 13 million in the U.S. alone. So these are very, very common, partially because of the improvement in medical technology now and their resuscitative efforts able to bring people back who would have died in times past. I first became aware of near-death experiences when I was 9 years old. My Uncle Cliff almost was killed. His car got in a wreck with a semi. The passenger next to him did die, and Uncle Cliff had many broken bones. I remember visiting him for the first time in his hospital bed. His jaw was wired shut, it was broken, but he was speaking through his clenched teeth and telling about what a wonderful experience it was, seeing green grass, hearing wonderful music. In fact, when the police officers came upon the crash, he told them, when he first came conscious, he said, "Who turned off the music?" And they said, "What music?" He didn't even have a radio in that car. He was hearing this beautiful music. He said it was the most wonderful experience he'd ever had, and if it weren't for his wife and children, he would have gladly stayed there. It was so beatific. Then when I started working in hospitals when I was 20 years old, I would interview patients because I was aware of these near-death experiences. I would ask them, "Do you remember anything when you were being coded, when you were almost dead?" And a number of times people would and tell me about these experiences. So I followed them while I was in theology school and so on, learning more and more about them. Well, there are tens of thousands of documented cases now with irrefutable evidence that this consciousness continues. So many cases that they're called collectively tennis shoe stories. So typically a person will come to the hospital, DOA, they're in an ambulance, they're unconscious, their eyes are closed, they're in then the emergency room or the ICU, and during that time while they're being worked on, their consciousness, awareness, spirit, whatever you want to call it, hovers around the room, sees the particulars of the resuscitation, and then after a while hovers above the hospital, around the hospital. So again, many people upon successful resuscitation accurately describe events that happen around the hospital, or maybe something like, if you don't believe me, there's an old tennis shoe by an air duct on top of the hospital. And they'll send a maintenance worker up there, and indeed, it is just as they describe where they describe. So how could this person know something like it was up there? No one else can get up on top of the roof. That's locked, only available to maintenance people. So we'll talk more about near-death experiences, but I encourage you to share this information with others. Life-changing experience lets us really live with freedom, not fear. So visit our website, soulproof.com, and sign up for a free newsletter and learn much more about near-death experiences.